Can someone actually get away with murder? Legally?
You'd be surprised. Let me explain. Getting away with murder means legally not getting convicted despite a crime being suspected. This is an educational/legal discussion, not a legal advice. If there's one phrase that matters most in criminal law, it's reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt is a legal standard of proof, primarily used in criminal cases. It means that the prosecution must present evidence so convincing that it eliminates any reasonable doubt about the defendant's guilt in the mind of a rational person. In criminal court, a person is only guilty if there's no reasonable doubt. That means the jury must be almost certain. Not 100%, but very close. Think of it like this. If you still have a good reason to hesitate, it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. In most countries, especially in the US, a jury must be absolutely sure, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant is guilty. If there's any serious uncertainty, they must vote not guilty. That's not a loophole. It's protection against wrongful conviction. Double jeopardy means you can't be tried twice for the same crime after an acquittal. Once a person is found not guilty in court, the government can't just keep retrying them until they get a conviction. It protects against abuse of power and endless prosecution. In rare cases, a person may plead not guilty by reason of insanity. This doesn't mean they walk free. It means they weren't mentally capable of understanding their actions or telling right from wrong at the time of the crime. If successful, they're usually placed in a psychiatric facility, not released. Under the Castle Doctrine, a person has the legal right to defend themselves in their own home, sometimes with deadly force, if threatened. Stand your ground laws go further, allowing you to defend yourself anywhere you have a legal right to be, without a duty to retreat. These defenses can save lives, or stir controversy. It is important to note that a person was acquitted due to lack of evidence. A case had a successful self-defense claim. Charges were dropped due to procedural errors. Let's look at two cases with unexpected outcomes. First is Casey Anthony, 2011, the trial that shocked the nation. In 2011, the world watched as Casey Anthony, a 25-year-old Florida mother, stood trial for the murder of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee Anthony. The verdict? Shocking. The outrage? Unmatched. This is the story of the trial that divided a nation and left more questions than answers. Kaylee Anthony was last seen in June 2008, but wasn't reported missing for 31 days. Her mother, Casey, told police a nanny named Zanny had kidnapped her. That nanny didn't exist.
You're saying she's been missing for 31 days?
As the lies unraveled, Casey was arrested. Kaylee's remains were found in December, in a wooded area near the Anthony family home, just months later. The trial began in May 2011. Prosecutors argued Casey wanted to live a party lifestyle, free from motherhood. They painted her as cold, deceptive, and guilty of premeditated murder.
She chose to sacrifice her child so she could live the life she wanted.
But the defense told a different story, claiming Kaylee drowned in the family pool and that Casey's behavior was the result of trauma and abuse. After 10 hours and 40 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned. The jury ruled not guilty first-degree murder, not guilty manslaughter, guilty 4 counts of lying to police.
Casey Anthony is found not guilty of murdering her daughter.
The public was stunned. Protests erupted. Online forums exploded. Many believed justice had not been served. Casey Anthony walked free just days after the verdict. But she didn't escape the court of public opinion. She filed for bankruptcy in 2013 and remains one of the most controversial figures in modern true crime history.
Was there reasonable doubt? Yes. Was she innocent? That's what we'll never truly know.
Over a decade later, the Casey Anthony case still sparks fierce debate. It challenged how we see justice, media influence, and the power of public emotion. What do you believe? Did the jury get it right? Or did Casey Anthony get away with murder? In the second case in review is Robert Blake, guilty or innocent, the trial that split 2 courts. He was a Hollywood star, turned murder suspect. Accused of killing his wife, Robert Blake walked free in criminal court, but wasn't so lucky in civil court. This is the case where justice took 2 different paths. You can be found innocent by law, but guilty by the people. On May 4, 2001, 44-year-old Bonnie Lee Backley was shot in the head while sitting in her car outside a Los Angeles restaurant. Minutes earlier, she'd been dining with her husband, actor Robert Blake. Mr. Blake claims he went back inside the restaurant to retrieve a gun, but it wasn't the murder weapon. No eyewitnesses, no weapon found, but suspicion quickly fell on Blake. In 2002, Blake was arrested and charged with murder. Prosecutors claimed he plotted his wife's killing to escape a rocky marriage and custody battle. They presented witnesses who alleged Blake tried to hire hitmen.
He wanted out, and he didn't want to lose his child.
The defense argued those witnesses were unreliable, with shady pasts and inconsistent stories. This was a tragic murder, but Robert Blake didn't commit it. In 2005, after months of testimony, the jury found Robert Blake not guilty of murder, so he was acquitted. Robert Blake walks free after 3 years behind bars. But the story didn't end there. Bonnie's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in civil court, and in 2006, a very different verdict came down. Liable wrongful death. Blake was found liable in order to pay $30 million to Backley's family. 2 courts, 2 outcomes, 1 man, 1 tragedy. So how can someone be not guilty in one court, but guilty in another? Here's how it works. In criminal cases, burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. Verdict, not guilty, there was not enough evidence to convict him. In civil cases, burden of proof, preponderance of evidence. He was found liable. The difference is simply that in criminal court, the key question is, can you prove it beyond a doubt? But in civil court asks, did you probably do it? The standards are very different. Robert Blake's acting career never recovered. The public remained divided. Was he a wronged man, or a killer who slipped through the cracks? What do you think? Did the jury get it right, or did civil court reveal the real truth? Robert Blake's case is more than a courtroom drama. It's a powerful reminder that the law and justice don't always walk hand in hand. In criminal court, the question is there proof beyond a reasonable doubt? And when the answer is no, the result is acquittal. This does not necessarily mean innocence. In civil court, the bar is lower. It's not about certainty. It's about what's more likely than not. The same evidence, seen through 2 different lenses, led to 2 very different outcomes. A man walks free and still pays the price. To some, Blake was a victim of public perception. To others, he was a man who escaped the full weight of the law. But one thing is certain, the truth doesn't always fit neatly into a courtroom verdict. Because sometimes, it's not about guilt, it's about what you can prove. This video is for educational purposes only. Do not commit crimes. Understanding the law is not the same as trying to beat it.